Coming to the end of the year, so we're going to be chatting about the Bass Hive Awards, which is obviously a big thing for Bass Hive last year. They're coming back this year, bigger and better. We've refined the categories a bit, so there's a bit of difference, but largely it's going to be the same thing. We're very close to releasing the shortlists, but to get a bit of help in putting together these lists and selecting who's been the best artists of the year, I've got the help of Spence and Gavin Foord to help me pick their favourite artists who will be going into the shortlists and the nominations for this year's awards. How you guys doing?
Good, you?
I'm really good. How are you, Spence?
Not too bad.
Good. Cheers for coming and doing this.
Our pleasure.
We're going to do this in 3 parts. We're going to do our favourite artists who we think deserve to win Best Bass Act. We're going to do our favourite artists who deserve to win Best Garage, and we're going to do our Best Newcomer of 2021. So let's start off. We're going to pick 3 artists each, and we're going to back them up. We're going to justify our picks. So Gav, I'm going to come to you first with your first bass artist of the year and why.
My first bass artist of the year is SKEPSIS. He brought out an album this year that was really good, and he's just of all the bass producers, his records are my favourite to when I DJ out. Like, I always have at least 3 SKEPSIS records that I play in any set, and it can go up to 5 or 6 in a set, but a minimum 3. He's just, for me, he's the best bass producer for the music that I want to play out. So he's probably always going to be in my top 3 each year till he stops.
I think that's a good one as well. And with his tracks, like his old tracks like Goes Like, they're still being played out now, and I think the songs on the album had that same sort of feel to them, that they'll still be being played.
Yeah, he's a great producer. He's got to be in the conversation for me.
So he'll be on the list. First name on the list is SKEPSIS. I'm going to go to Spence now with your first name on your list, who's getting added to the shortlist.
Yeah. So it's one of my favourites from a long time. I've always loved this artist. It's Hot Goods. He's just incredible producer. A very solid style, very sort of heavy but not too dark style, which is what I'd go for when listening to bass. And he's with his remixes he's done this year as well. And Snapple, I know that's quite an old track, but still, he's a very good producer, and he's a very nice man as well.
For me, Feel It is also one of the tracks of the year, and Hot Goods is only really an artist I properly got into this year as well, so he'd be right up in that conversation for me.
Stop there, David, turn that aircon off, because the microphones will pick it up. We'll just go from my first pick is. Thank you, David.
My first pick for Best Bass Artist, I'm sort of going a similar route to you, Gav, I'm going with THORPEY, based on his debut album, Year of the Wobbler, which came out earlier this year. I think he's shown a really good variation of styles, from garage to obviously that old school wobbly bass line we know him for, and some more like mellow stuff, if you like. But I think that was a great album with a great range of tracks and some nice collaborations in there as well. So he's going to be my first pick for Artist of the Year. Back to Gav. Pick 2, Best Bass Artist of the Year.
Gentleman's Club.
Solid.
They've had an amazing year. Like, I love watching the videos of them DJing, and their production is really, really good. And I want to see them live. I want to get drunk with them. I want to collab with them. I want to wear their merchandise. They've smashed this year.
They have to be one of the artists in the scene who has like the strongest brand identity. And I mean, we saw them the other day. They are really nice guys, and the energy on stage is great. They invited us all onto the stage with them. It was a proper party atmosphere. Really nice guys. Number 2 for you then, Spence. Best bass.
I mean, obviously, I have to go for who I look up to. I'd say NUBASS is with a very like clunky, heavy bass tunes. He's just released his single on Gentleman's Club label.
Club Friendly, yeah.
Club Friendly, yeah. And I think NUBASS has this constant release of just heavy, dark basses and it always seems to get better. And there's no sign of it getting boring. And especially with NUBASS, because his drums are so perfect as well. I'd just say I think he deserves to win this.
Yep, solid one. Quite similar to Hot Goods as well, but
Yeah.
obviously a solid pick nonetheless. NUBASS going straight on that short list. My second one arguably could be on the list for best newcomer, but I think that his debut year has been so good that he's definitely in the conversation for best bass artist, and that is 1997. He's done NUBASS, he's done Crewcast. What I wanted to see from him start through the year was him breaking away from the collaborations and doing more stuff by himself. He did a debut EP on Doris Sounds, I believe, which got top of the Juno charts, and I just think he's going to be even more exciting next year. Gav, third and final best bass artist pick. Who have you got?
Albsy. I think he's goes from strength to strength. Obviously got his own label. He started now releasing with Yosh, his own label, across all the things, and just every release is consistently good, and they get better and better and better. So collectively, I think if you look at what he's released this year, when you put it all together, he's got to be in the conversation for best artist of the year. Definitely,
and I think his impact on the scene goes a lot wider than just his music as well.
Oh yeah, he started teaching artists now and stuff, and having he's great year for him, and he's given up his job to do music this year, which is what is the goal, isn't it?
Yeah, congrats to Albsy for that, and he's definitely going on the short list. Third and final then for yourself, Spence, best bass artist. Who have you got?
So I've gone for another obvious, extremely talented. I've gone for Notion, just always on top with his production, and he's gone for sort of grittier route this year, especially with one of my favourite tracks of the year is Cherry. I know it's not bass, but it's just a huge track, and he has potential to make a lot more tracks like that, which have a massive impact on the way I produce. I'm sure a lot of people are the same.
Knowing Notion personally as you do, Gav, how do you sort of evaluate his year and his progression? He's just very, very good, isn't he? So to go into other genres, and I think he was always going to branch off into different things. He's never going to stay doing the same thing. He's too good to do the same thing. And I think being in lockdown, he got to go some different paths creatively, and obviously he's just done the Outsider tour, where he's doing smaller venues to do these different sounds, and he's got an album coming. And yeah, I'm excited to hear it, because it's exciting to see what someone as talented as him has done in lockdown. I'm looking forward to hearing it, and he's a very nice man. Good. Well, my third and final pick, bear in mind all of these names are going to be on the short list, so keep in mind who you want to win this award. My third and final pick for best bass artist is Kajama. I think this year Kajama's really stepped up with his production. I think he's become like part of the Crewcast roster now. His name is sort of aligned with like the SKEPSIS and the Dark Seas, and he's always on their lineups as well for their tours. Don't Let Me Down with Prima was one of the tunes of the year. I know that was one of his most anticipated tracks, so he must feel great to finally get that out. And then Take a Ride, which had the music video and everything. I think we just see him he's taken a step up, so he can now be considered one of the top UK bass artists. So that's 9 names. I'll run quickly through them now. Mine were THORPEY, 1997 Kajama, Spence was Hot Goods, NUBASS and Notion, and Gav, SKEPSIS, Gentleman's Club and Albsy. Who's your favourite on there, and who have we missed? Because I know there's going to be people that we've left out. Shouts to Zero as well, who won it last year, has also had a great year, and could arguably be in the conversation again. Well, he will be in the conversation, so because he won last year, we didn't include him in this list. That's why we didn't.
Yeah, because
he's a defending champion. He'll be in it.
Everyone's coming for his title. But if you want to get involved with the voting starts very soon. So keep an eye out for that on the Bass Hive platforms. Comment who we have forgotten to add into the shortlist so we can get them all in time. And cheers.